Family's a fickle and interesting thing, especially when several of the core nuclear members are descendants of a race of semi-alien warriors named after vegetables. This just so happens to be the case for Son Goku and his family in Dragon Ball Z and onwards, and it's just lent itself to a legacy of legendary warriors and bright minds like Goku, Goten, and even Pan depending on the timeline. But then there's the black sheep of the fighters, Gohan, first son of Goku and Chi-Chi. Unlike his father, who's confident, peppy, and a bit of a motor mouth, who's always been looking for enhance his skills on the battlefield, Gohan has been encouraged by his mother from a very young age to pursue other interesting things than fighting, which has led us to him taking up the dream of becoming a great scholar someday. This isn't to say that Gohan can't fight, because of course he can. His recent endeavors in the Tournament of Power have proved him to be still able to hold his ground in a free-for-all. But of course, there's his crowning moment in the Cell Saga when he's the one to ultimately destroy Perfect Cell's body and its entirety. It was after this momentous Kamehameha, though, that Gohan's training begun to slack, noticeably petering off during the 7 years of peace between Cell's destruction and Majin Buu's first appearance, to the point where he was entirely focused on his studies. But let's say he never stopped. What if Gohan managed to balance his need to train for battle with his need to study even further, and what effect would it have when the time came to face off Majin Buu? With Goku's death in the wake of Cell's defeat, the responsibilities of defending Earth from such threats is left to Gohan, which both father and son understand. In this alternative timeline, the decision on Gohan's future is made partly by Chi-Chi, as well having recently given birth to Goten at a certain point. She realizes that thrusting all the fighting responsibilities on such a tiny little kid all at once is not going to bond well if and when something does arrive. So Chi-Chi decides to raise Goten in those 7 years more like Gohan. The two grew up in very similar circumstances, both going to school as normal but also training as equal, so there isn't much in the disparity between the two. Gohan still has slight tendencies towards academics though, as does Goten with fighting. In the reduced hours of school time that Gohan has, he still trains by fighting crime in surrounding cities. The objective he has for his heart right now remains to keep the peace and be able to lose Super Saiyan 2 even for a little bit, but many more times. Each day allows him to roughly retain its power level over a longer period of time. Here he still meets Videl, who also be engaging in vigilantism around Satan City. But due to them not being in close quarters at school, their dynamic will take on a more mysterious unspoken mutual pairing. They still get on just fine, but when it comes down to training with her and Goten, both manage to master the art of flight in matter of hours rather than days. It turns out that being able to balance study with combat has not only allowed him to keep his edge as a fighter, but also makes him a great teacher to those who looked up to him. The World Tournament Saga goes roughly the same. Goku returns from the afterlife to compete and crosses Kibito in his bracket, where he unleashes Super Saiyan 2. This transformation is even flashier and brighter through his training. However, this allows Yamu and Shapokovich to drain even more energy from him in their surprise attack, forcing him and the others to give a chase, letting him learn about circumstances around Majin Buu. But it's after that the things really start looking up for Gohan. In his increased power, he still agrees to fight the Bora. However, his power is ridiculously outclasses that of the Boras, being able to easily overpower him and barely giving him a chance to flee and report his findings. Even Vegeta seems vaguely impressed by this, or not disappointed at least, since Gohan hasn't been slacking. Clearly, this isn't the pinnacle of his power level just yet. Fast forward to the eventual hatching of Boo's cocoon and Gohan's deduced decisions to flee from the battle with Supreme Kai after seeing what happened to Deborah. This point where he is more calmer and collective self begin to feel the fire lit under him. Sure, he's always had a goal to work towards in the past during his time in Satan City, but now the stakes are even higher than ever. It's like he's fighting Cell again and his will to grow only burns even brighter than before. He's afraid, but determined at the same time, ready to take him on when the time is right. That is soon. In his strength, he manages to escape Boo's onslaught of attacks without the help of Shin or anyone else's. Even though his kicks to Boo's face still doesn't do any damage, he's able to withstand the burnt of Boo's vapor-ass attacks without being knocked unconscious. There's no fake-out death here. Being able to return to his friends and family in one piece acts of a sort of proof how strong he gotten in these 7 years, and a testament how there's still hope amongst those who stand against Boo. This is especially the case for Kibito, who's now uncertainly in believing Gohan has what it takes to hold the Z sword at the very least, even though none of the other Kais have managed. When pulling out the sword, he easily enters Super Saiyan form, then Super Saiyan 2. But as the sword begins to budge, it feels like the wind in the sacred world of Kais is beginning to pull into Gohan. But only for a short amount of time as the sword cleanly comes out of the ground. This sign of Gohan's growth is demonstrated even further with the awakening of Old Kai, and the ability to unlock Gohan's true upper limit takes place. Curiously though, once the ritual takes place, Gohan doesn't feel as big of a difference as he otherwise would have. He's just that much stronger on his own already. Now Boo has already absorbed the likes of Piccolo, Goten, Trunks, and is facing off against Goku and Gohan. Training his body also trained his mind as well, ironically allowing him to come up with the idea to destroy Boo from the inside out to defeat him. Because he's so much more on the ball in this fight, he's able to catch the Batora earring from Goku and manage to fuse before Boo can hit him with an attack. With Gotenks defusing inside of Boo making him much weaker, Boo now stands before the fusion of father and son, Gokuhan. With Boo's tentacle cut off, they still take no notice of it, but with the purpose of this time, Gokuhan intentionally lets himself get absorbed into Boo, and here he proceeds to remove everyone who was trapped inside before bursting himself out. The resulting transformation into Kid Boo leads into Gokuhan trying his best to deflect or nullify the effects of the planet burst. But even though his efforts do a significantly larger amount of damage than Vegito ever could do, it's not enough to stop Kid Boo from ending the world. But Purunga's revivals allows him for a second chance. Now as everybody in the world helps charge the Spirit Bomb, it is being done for both Goku and Gohan. As father and son, they're being able to launch the Spirit Bomb successfully and defeat Boo together. Having finally proven himself to be worthy of protecting the Earth, just like Goku twice, Gohan finally begins to become more private of the ideal of combat and training, even though he still has a preference for reading and the like. But there is some things in life Gohan believes that you just cannot learn from a book, and you need to get out there and see them for yourself, even if they're a bubblegum monster who wants to blow up the planet. From there, he manages to raise a family comfortably with Videl, becoming not only a good father to Pan, but a legendary representative of Universe 7. With the sheer level he's at, and with the synergy that he's with Goku, the battle against Jiren, Frost, and the other of the mere clinches, the world has gained both another hero and another genius, all in the same person. So let me know your thoughts on this wacky what-if topic in the comments below. And that is all for this video. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new. I'm your host, Vro. Now I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.